Once upon a time, there was a kind old woman who longed for a child. One day, she planted a magic seed given to her by a fairy. To her delight, the seed grew into a beautiful flower, and when the petals opened, there lay a tiny girl, no bigger than the woman's thumb. The woman named her Thumbelina. Thumbelina lived happily in the old woman's cottage, sleeping in a walnut shell bed and dancing on the petals of flowers. She was a joyful little girl who loved to sing with the birds and talk to the animals. Every day was a new adventure in the tiny, colorful world that was her home. But one night, while Thumbelina was asleep, a large, ugly toad hopped into the cottage. The toad was enchanted by Thumbelina's beauty, and thought she would make a perfect bride for her son. Without a second thought, the toad grabbed Thumbelina, and took her away to a lily pad in the middle of a pond. When Thumbelina awoke, she was frightened and alone. The toad's son, who was even uglier than his mother, stared at her with bulging eyes. The poor girl was terrified. The toads left Thumbelina on the lily pad while they went to prepare for the wedding. Thumbelina cried and called for help, but no one came. Just then, a fish who had been listening to her sad song felt sorry for her. The fish nibbled at the stem of the lily pad until it broke free, and Thumbelina floated away on the lily pad, carried by the gentle current. She drifted down the stream, away from the toads, and eventually found herself in a field of flowers. In the field, Thumbelina met a friendly butterfly who offered to help her. The butterfly tied a blade of grass around his body, and Thumbelina held on tight as he flew her away from the pond. They traveled together through the forest, meeting many animals along the way, each charmed by Thumbelina's sweetness and kindness. As the seasons changed, Thumbelina found herself a home in a cozy little hollow. She spent the winter there, warm and safe, thanks to the kindness of a field mouse who shared her home and food. In the spring, Thumbelina's beauty and grace caught the eye of a prince who was just her size, a prince of the flower fairies. The prince fell in love with Thumbelina, and they were married in a grand ceremony in the heart of a beautiful flower. Thumbelina became a princess of the fairies, and she lived happily ever after in a world where everything was just her size. And so, the little girl who was once no bigger than a thumb found her place in a world full of love and beauty.